Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about an important idea that you need to know to solve exponent equations. So this is pretty much like exponent equations part 1. The idea is how to change one base to another base. To be able to do that successfully, you need to have some idea about how powers work, like say 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 3. You should have some idea what that number could be. Say 2 to the power of 5 is 32, or something like 5 to the power of 3 is 125. So it's a good idea for you to have this piece of information written down somewhere as you're going through this whole unit, because if you're struggling with this unit, it's possibly because you don't have an idea about how the squares and the cubes they work. Coming back here, the task is to change 9 to the power of 2 as a base of 3. So how do we go about doing that? We know that 9 is the same thing as 3 squared. So that is the relationship between the base of 9 and the base of 3. So what if I take this 3 to the power of 2, and instead of the 9 here, I substitute 3 to the power of 2. So I will get 3 to the power of 2. This is in place of 9. We still have to work with the 2 here. And so using the power rule, a to the power of m to the power of n, which is a power m times n, I go here 3 to the power of 2 times 2, which is 4. In the second example, we're kind of like going backwards. Instead of going from a larger base to a smaller base, we're going from a smaller base to a larger base. And usually when you go from a larger base to a smaller base, it involves powers. When you're going from a smaller base to a larger base, it's going to involve square roots. How so? So we know that 4 is the same thing as 2 to the power of 2. It also means that if I do a square root of 4, I will get a 2. So that is the main idea which we are going to use here. So 4 square root is the same thing as a 2. So instead of this 2 here, I'm going to replace that right there. So it will look like 4 to the power of half, which is the square root, to the power of 4. Now again, using the power rule that we talked about in problem A, I have to multiply those two powers. That is the half and the 4. So half of 4, if I multiply, half of 4 is a 2. So this would be 4 to the power of 2. Notice how 2 to the power of 4 is the same thing as 4 to the power of 2. I have changed the bases, and when I change the base, the exponent, the power there will always change. Third example, I'm going from a big power to a small power, and as we talked about in example C, this is going to involve roots. So how can it look like? So let's write this down. 3 to the power of 3 we know is 27. So if I have to express 3 as a base of 27, I will write 3 equals 27 cube root. But that is not a useful way of writing for our solutions. So we are going to write it in that form. So take this 27 to the power of 3, 1/3, substitute it right there. You will get 27 to the power of 1/3 to the power of 3. And you're going to get a surprising result, at least in the beginning. So now we have 1/3 and a 3. So we have a 1/3 and a 3 which we have to multiply. 1/3 of 3 is the same thing as 1. So I get 3 to the power of sorry, I made a mistake here, didn't I? Okay, so I made a mistake. So clear that. Let's go back. So start again. So we have 3 to the power of 3 is 27. So instead of the 27, substitute 3 to the power of 3 there. So we have 3 to the power of 3 to the power of 3. That would be 3 to the power of 3 times 3, which is a 9. Last question. Here, this problem is unique, and you're going to be seeing quite a few of these in your problem solving as it comes up. So we're going to try to change the base 8 here to a base of 4. If you go back here and look at the powers that we have, there is no relationship between base 4 and base 8 here. There's a relationship between 2 and 4. There's a relationship between 2 and 8. There is no direct relationship between 4 and 8. So the way to do is a two-step way of doing it. First, let's go from base 8 to base 2. So here we know that 2 to the power of 3 is 8. So take 2 to the power of 3, substitute it right there. So you will have 2 to the power of 3 to the power of 2. This would be 2 to the power of 6. Now we need to convert this 2 to the base of 4, which is our final objective. So I write 2 to the power of 2 is 4. Okay, so this means that 2 equals 4 to the half, which is a square root. Now take, instead of the 2 here, take the 4 to the half there and substitute there. So what do I get when I substitute and solving it here? So instead of the 2, we have 4 to the half to the 6th. So doing the calculation on the side, half of 6 is a 3. So this would be 4 to the power of 3. So be aware that if you cannot write one base to the other directly, you may have to go to a intermediate base like a 2 or a 3 and then switch to the second base. So this is going to be a two-stage solution to switch from bases that are not directly related to each other. See you in the next video.